there is a lot of wisdom in knowing what we can change and what we can control in our life and what we can't. So, for example, can I change the fact that my mum died? No,
No.
I cannot. That's the honest truth. There's a lot of wisdom in that, right?
Yeah.
So, what can I change and can I control? I can change and control my perception of it. I can change and control what I create from it.
Hey, my name is Veronica Cisneros, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, a mama of 3 girls, and married for 23 years. I am obsessed with helping you navigate through the seasons of marriage, helping couples like you break free from feeling like roommates. I will teach you the secrets to having a healthy marriage by providing tools and tips to help you reconnect in a way that you can't keep your hands off each other, where flirting and kissing is the norm in your household. Setting intentional time to date, get to know and support each other's dreams and goals so that you can grow together without keeping score or judging one another. Where you feel seen and heard even when you disagree. Where arguments end with mutual respect and understanding. Where you work together to build and strengthen your family so no one feels like they're carrying the weight of the family on their own. These are the necessary skills your children need for you to model so that they develop healthy relationships and thrive in life. This is the Empowered and Unapologetic Podcast. You ever have a conversation with someone and you guys just clicked? You never quite met them, but you guys just clicked. Well, that's exactly what happened with my conversation with Jana. She is the creator of Integrative Healing, a multi-modality and dimensional approach to self-healing and self-mastery. She is the CEO, founder of the school, Integrative Healing. The school is a long-term approach to true holistic transformation. These healing practices are a large part of Jana's life work and the essence of all of her teaching. Jana is a firm believer in having fun whilst doing the personal and business work. She believes that you can have it all: wealth, health, success, and greatness, as well as rest, joy, love, connection, and lightness, even during challenging times. So please help me welcome my guest, Jana. Jana, there's nothing better than getting 2 business women who are just ready to go out and have this open conversation, no setbacks, even if tech issues try to get in the way, and we're just ready to go ahead and kill this episode. Jana, thank you so much for coming on.
I'm so happy to be here. Can you guys tell that we've just had a few interesting minutes prior to recording?
Hey, listen,
We should all be very
conquer.
pleased that we're here, right? Exactly. But we made it. We're here. We're doing things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jana, thank you so much for being on. Especially, I got to tell you guys right now, Homegirl is literally in Spain, Ibiza to be exact. So, Jana, tell me your story.
So I work within the realm of healing. And I think the second that you say that, people are like, something happened, didn't it? You don't just like, you aren't just like, oh, I'm going to work in trauma when nothing's happened to you.
Right,
okay.
right.
So I think that gives you an idea that something did happen in the context for this conversation. And I always begin my story. I am 19 years old. I'm 31 right now. I think I look like I'm about 14, but I am 31, I promise. And 19 years old, I was diagnosed with an array of mental health conditions in the same 3 weeks in which my mother was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh
now, yeah, big 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solid
Major.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Major. Now, when I tell this story, what I think is interesting, especially as an adult reflecting back on a 19-year-old, was that I made a choice. And I made a choice that I wasn't going to follow my mother's footsteps, in which my mother was diagnosed with mental health conditions when she was 19, and she was on antidepressants until she passed away at 56.
Yeah.
It's my mother's passing and dying that taught me how to live. And it taught me to really get very, what's the language that I can use? Very decisive about what I want to live in my life, whether that's in success, businesses, wealth, but also relationships, joy, you know? When you are a young person, and I was a caretaker for my mother until she passed away when I was 26. When you're a young person and you witness mortality firsthand, it changes something within you. So I was really no longer willing to accept lower
Yeah.
levels of anything that I than what I desire. And I mean this in money, I mean this in love, I mean this in health, I mean this in joy, I mean this in satisfaction. Um, so it's an 11-year period that I'm condensing down. But I suppose in essence, I decided that I would be the person that changed the patterns in my family.
Oh yeah.
So what's passed down
Oh
from
yeah.
me in my genetic line is different to what was handed to me.
Yeah. Where was your dad in all of this? So I'm hearing both of you are getting these huge diagnoses, you know, and I'm kind of like I'm trying to imagine, I'm trying to imagine being like right next to you, and then it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing this on my own. It's kind of like the feeling that I'm getting from your story.
So interesting, Austin. My dad's a great man. My dad is a fantastic man. He is. I always say this to people. At school, everyone's like, "What does your dad do?" And everyone's like, "My dad's a teacher. My dad's a postman." I'm like, "My dad's a Norwegian crime fiction translator." Okay, so my dad. Do you know what I mean? He collects fig trees. He's got 42 fig trees. And my dad's an English eccentric, okay? My dad's brilliant. I am who I am because of my father. However, my dad is 75. He was born just after the war and he didn't understand mental health. You
No,
know,
no.
when I was diagnosed, my father would say to me, and he would, he feels, I think, embarrassed now, but he would say, Hannah, we're not changing because you're weird, That's because you have to think 10 years ago, if it wasn't even like it is
No,
now, people didn't talk about mental health. So,
at all.
you know, at all. So in my family, it was like, Hannah, take your little pill like mum's done, right? And shh,
Yeah,
like that was really how it was. So I think the essence of maybe feeling alone in the journey that you're hearing is that, I was doing my psychology undergrad, I was on medication, I graduated with all of these awards and excellence. And I was like, you solved none of the issues that I'm genuinely facing. Like I learned
mhm,
about memory. There is nothing applicable to an actual human being having a human experience. So I think that I made a decision, this is probably like 21 now, where I was like, well, I see the conventional path. You've given me a pill. I have not
yeah,
improved. I still feel sad. My relationships are crap.
mhm,
you know,
yeah,
like and I've had CBT and like there was a year waiting list and like not much has changed. So there was this real feeling of it's not even about my father or my mother of like I want a different way and it's a different way that's not being conventionally taught and I'm
yeah,
going to go out of my way to find that. And that's really when I think my hero's journey as such, if you want to call it, or heroine's journey started.
yeah. So getting that diagnosis at 19 years old, mom got that diagnosis, well, got her own diagnosis. How long after did she pass?
So she was diagnosed at 19. I was diagnosed at 19. We thought that so it's 4 years. We were told that it was curable. And so that's when I started traveling. I left university. I started, training as a nutritionist. I did a whole load of modalities to heal myself. When I was 23, so I'd have been living in New Zealand, I got an email from my mum and dad saying, "Hi, Han, the cancer's back. It's terminal. There's nothing we can do."
Oh,
Via email. Isn't that funny? I
oh,
laugh now because that shows the emotional level of a lot of
disconnect.
adults, right? Like,
Ah,
let's send Hannah an email. And then I
yeah,
decided and this was a decision, I decided to fly home back to the UK. And that's where I became a caretaker. My mum stopped living with my dad for about 8 months. She moved in with me. I think dad was in a lot of denial to start with,
Yeah.
we're not taught about mortality. We're not taught about how to deal with cancer. This is why I do what I do, because we're not equipped as human beings to deal with these kind of situations. No one teaches us in school. And she passed away when I was 26. So it was 7 years from first diagnoses, and it was 3 years after second diagnoses.
Was there any resentment you had towards, I mean, I get, one thing you keep on mentioning is dad didn't know. Dad didn't know. And I'm thinking about you as this 19-year-old, 20, 21, 22, like you don't know either. And so was there any resentment you carried towards your father for, and I'm aware it doesn't sound like he, dumped the load on you. However, the responsibility became yours at a very young age.
Here's the thing, it's like you're always going to hear the conversation, the narrative from me in my 31 years of age. So how I feel about it as today, Hannah, 31-year-old Hannah, is very different to how I felt at 19. I've done a lot of work on myself. I've just done a private session with one of my clients, and she's done all of these long retreats with Joe Dispenza. And I'm not saying this to kind of blow my own trumpet, but someone that practices what I preach.
Oh yeah.
So you're hearing a very clean story,
Yeah.
but not because it was clean emotionally, but because I did the work to clean up my side. I have a belief system, and I have a belief system that my life is my responsibility. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say there's resentment towards my father. What does that affect? Does that affect my father? Does that punish him? Does that make it? I don't even believe in punishing someone for what you perceived as bad behavior. I believe that's conditioning that's not helpful to anyone. But I believe that my healing, my feelings, my perceptions of people, my perceptions of my life and my responsibility. And I choose the most empowered narrative. So for me to have a story of my dad's an asshole, which I don't believe at all, right? There might be an inner child that feels that. There might be a therapy session where I have to cry and move that through the body, or I have to clear that in my unconscious mind, right? But that's not helping me.
No.
That's not helping them.
No.
And note on resentment, right? Resentment ties you to other people, and resentment keeps you creating more situations in your life that are filled with resentment. So I see that as an unuseful narrative for me to have, basically.
No, I'm glad you were able to explain that, because a lot of people do stay tied and imprisoned by that narrative, of resentment. And when we're in it, I love that you also brought up, like, we do tend to go ahead and attract and create this pattern of other relationships where we might carry resentment or even past pain. And that impacts the relationship. And, a lot of people get stuck there, so it's refreshing to hear that, although, it wasn't so clean, there was a point in which you had to do your own work to heal and to move forward and to own your story, to own your life, and to hold yourself accountable for your life. And that's not something that happens overnight. Can you take us through that process? What would you say
Yeah, I
was one of
think
your biggest challenges?
challenges. Okay. Well, what I was going to say before that is that there is a lot of wisdom in knowing what we can change and what we can control in our life, and what we can't. So, for example, can I change the fact that my mum died? No,
No.
I cannot. That's the honest truth. There's a lot of wisdom in that, right?
Yeah.
So, what can I change and can I control? I can change and control my perception of it. I can change and control what I create from it. Okay. So, if I decide that it's the best thing that ever happened to me, then it's the best thing that ever happened to me, and I can control that.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
this is how I really do life, and this is what I really teach people. Something that you said, the greatest challenge. The greatest challenge, that's a good question. I'm going to answer that with something that is not an answer to the question. And hopefully you're going to go with me. just own the fact that I'm not going to answer the question as you'd expect me to answer the question.
It's okay.
Can I give my perception on challenge?
Yes. Yeah. Hell yes. Yes, please.
Our life is down to our perception. Okay. So when we consider something as hard or as a struggle or as a challenge, you're already putting it as in a category to notice what is hard and a struggle and a challenge about it. Okay. So I think there's a saying, and I can't remember exactly how it is. It's like a lot of people think that obstacles and challenges are wrong, but what if they're just part of the path of who you're becoming, right?
Love that. I love that.
So yeah, I faced a lot of challenges. I continue to face a lot of challenges. I'm building a business. I'm in a relationship. Like I want to have a big, extraordinary life. Like, but I eat challenge for breakfast. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I choose to frame it. I believe that I'm always bigger than my challenges, and that every challenge that I face, is going to lead to so many gifts that I would never, ever take it back.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you took us there. A lot of what you're saying, we're all going to endure some level of pain. Pain is inevitable, right? Pain is inevitable. And we're all going to endure some level of pain, whether it be, grieving the loss of someone very important to us, whether it be grieving, who we once thought we needed to be and owning who we currently are. There are going to be challenges in life. However, there's also suffering. Suffering is 1,000% optional. We can choose to be imprisoned by our past. We can choose to be imprisoned by, our perception, the way you're putting it. And I love it. We have that choice. Does it suck that, maybe things happen in our life, or maybe people, are a certain way? Absolutely. And owning that we do have a choice to either continue this suffering without accepting the reality or enduring the pain. So I like to categorize it as, there's a small moment of this big, significant pain or a lifetime of suffering. And so it's all based off of what you decide. And I appreciate one thing that you continuously repeat is, I made that decision. Like, it is my choice. I love that I love the way you hold yourself accountable for how you perceive life and what life what life or the impacts of life has had on you. I love that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of people think responsibility is heavy, and so now we're talking about it. That's not my experience of responsibility.
Yeah.
It's like if you decide that you're always the problem, that means that you're always the solution. That means that you're unstoppable, right?
Yeah.
That means that everything in your life has got a solution. That means that everything is possible. So for me, responsibility and decision are the lightest things in the world, right? Because if I can take responsibility for it, I can change, or I can have the outcome that I desire and I want, right? And so that's when this gets to be really, really exciting, because it's not just about what happened to me, it's about what am I creating for the future me.
I know looking for the right therapist can be challenging. However, feeling overwhelmed and disconnected is even harder. Life is filled with several twists and turns, some more severe than others. We do our best to handle them as they come and find ourselves at a loss, not knowing what to do or who to turn to. The clinicians here at Outside the Norm Counseling are here to help. We are here to assist you through this time of need. Together, we will identify your strengths and goals and teach you healthy coping skills. Together, we will develop a plan to help you live the life you want to live. Our team is compassionate, genuine, and we take a great deal of pride in providing an empathetic, non-judgmental approach to all of our clients. It's time! You've waited long enough, whether it be for you, your child, or if you're in need of a couple session. We are highly trained clinicians ready to guide you. Schedule an appointment now by calling 951-395-3288. Again, that number is 951-395-3288. We're looking forward to meeting you and being a part of your journey.
What would you say gets in the way sometimes when you are you are in that mind state of, okay, this challenge or this event or this scenario, is causing a great amount of fear or a great amount of uncertainty. For us to be able to kind of switch that perception in those moments, it's hard, and sometimes damn near scary. I know for me, you know, um, I just recorded a podcast episode on this, but yeah, I have lumps in my breasts, and that I've had lumps in my breasts forever, 23 years. And I got a call, and it was a different, like, there was different measures, and there was a whole big old scare, and there was all of this fear wrapped around it. And I remember, like, well, what would I say to a patient? How would I have them process through this? And there was a point where I was so stuck in the catastrophizing, and, I'm going to die, and my husband's sexy. So damn it, somebody's going to, he's going to get remarried. And I went into all of this distorted thinking, and it was so hard to switch back. And so for those of us, that although we do embrace life, there are certain things that come up that it's hard to make that switch so quickly, and it does take time. And so for you, has there ever been a moment where it was a little harder for you to go ahead and process through whatever life threw at you? And
Of
if you can share what it
course.
was.
I mean, loads. I could write a book. Numerous things. Do you know what I mean? Several books, actually, a trilogy. Tools. It always comes down to this. It's like I always say this to my clients. I'm not special. I knew what it was like to not be resourced and to not have tools as life happens to you. I speak about being 19 and having this diagnosis and this mental health stuff. And, I don't have any resources. I don't know how to change it. I've dedicated the last 11 years of my life to tools to transform, right? So let me give you an example this year. Go on, let's go for some fun ones that have really hurt. We've gone into a new level of success in business this year. I've gone into a new level of success. And I'm speaking to those of you that are listening that maybe had, a childhood where you were bullied, or you were really shy, and you were really meek, and you were really like a good girl. Like, I didn't say anything in school. I was at the back, and I would have like my neatly done hair and my perfectly made up face. And I would not, I would just, you didn't even know I was there. Like, I was so painfully shy, right? And I've never wanted to be the face of anything, ever. It's never been my desire. It's that I had this experience, and I know at the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my soul that I'm meant to do this as a career path. This is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean my stuff doesn't get in the way. So anyway, this year has meant so much more visibility.
Yeah.
And it's triggered so much. So exhausting, right? But this is where I come to, I'm so grateful for the tools. So let me give you an example let me think of something icky that happened this year, because there's so many things. We crossed the 1 million line, so 2.5 years. Yay. Woo.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And what's really interesting is that when we create a big positive result unconsciously as children, we have programmed in how much good we can hold. And when we go over that, we start to sabotage. Okay. And we start to unconsciously create things that are not good, so we can't feel the positive feeling. Okay. It's a whole thing. But anyway, my theatrical play out of this was we crossed the 1 million euro line, because I don't earn in dollars. I'm in India on a business mastermind, and then I get blackmailed, and then a whole series of I'm not joking, just a whole series.
I believe.
Yeah, of course, because it happens.
Happens.
It happens. And when you've got stuff around visibility, it happens. You're like, energetically, you're a target for that. So it entered Let me explain this because I think this will be helpful to understand. When we experience something that feels like a threat, it creates a programming in the unconscious mind, right? And until we resolve that threat in the unconscious mind, that's where you get stuck in spiraling thoughts, like you mentioned, right? My husband is really sexy. That's exactly what I would think about my partner. I'd be like, he's so sexy. But what? Get uglier. Get fat. So what's really important is to know how to disengage the unconscious mind. And it took me a while to realize it, because sometimes when you're really in it, you just need to be in it for a second, and it's fine. There's no shame in that. You just like, I'm
feel the pain.
I'm exactly like, it's happening. You know, I'm not perfect. I don't have to be perfect. It's, you know, life's not about perfection, but eventually we're done with that. We want to use the tool, right? There's incredible tools that you can use to reprogram the unconscious mind, to speak to the unconscious mind, to unhook the unconscious mind. And what just happens is, like, it's incredible, you know, the anxiety goes, the racing thoughts goes, the nervous system response goes. And it's just, I'm eternally grateful for the teachers, the tools, the modalities that I have and use, because not only do I teach them to my clients, like when I say I'm well practiced, I'm always using them. My life is as good as it is because of them, not because I'm special.
No, I think you are special, and
we are all special.
Right. And it is so important that we practice what we preach. It's 1,000% important we practice what we preach. And, you know, unfortunately, when we reach certain, you know, certain goals, and, you know, our dreams are coming true, there are some backlashes, you know, and it's unfortunate that you had to endure that. And what I think is amazing is it's through that you are able to go ahead and achieve even greater goals, and you are able to go ahead and dream even bigger. I feel like, for me, you know, anytime I've, you know, made a goal or just thought of something that I wanted to do and it happened, it was just like, oh shit. Oh yeah, wait a minute. I am badass. I could do that, and I could do this, and I could do this, you know, and our mind does play tricks on us. And I love that you said, you know, for that moment, being able to be in the thick of it and feel it, because it is a painful experience, and being able to honor that pain, it is part of that healing process. So I love that you said that. And then knowing, okay, all right, we did that for a minute, you know, and now I have these tools, you know, that Hannah will teach you. I have these tools that will take me even further, so I don't stay imprisoned by this.
Completely. And there's a thing, when something bad happens as human beings, what we sometimes do is we judge it and we make it wrong, right? We don't accept it. And there's a lot to be said for being like, this is how I feel. This is what's happening. It's not bad. I'm not going to resist it. I feel sad. Positive that came out of being blackmailed, though, and having a hate page. Can you imagine?
That's
I'm like,
nuts.
what? Was, I probably shouldn't say this about that, but it just makes me laugh. But the positive of it was that I was so scared to ruffle feathers. I was so scared to be disliked. And now I'm like, yo, like, I don't care. And that's, and not a I don't care. Like, I genuinely feel emotionally neutral. I'm not going to go out there and be an asshole to provoke.
No,
right?
For what?
For what? But I'm good, you know? And different levels of success means more people are going to see you, and some people are going to like you, and some people aren't. If we need everyone to like us, those are chains, right? So that's always something we have to work through.
Listen to what she just said, ladies. Can you repeat that? If you need everyone to like you, then those are
chains.
Yeah. Why would you say they're chains? I 1,000% agree with you.
When you need people to like you, they control you and you don't control you. And this looks like, I need this person to like me. And in my mind, I think this person is only going to like me if I'm X, Y, and Z. That means that I'm only going to show these qualities of myself, and I'm going to throw away all the rest of the qualities, because God forbid I say that and I offend someone. Okay, let me give you an example. My partner's ex-military, right? 13 years in the military. We swear a lot in my household. We are very direct, right? We are like, just, you know, we don't it is what it is. We don't beat around the bush,
Yeah.
And so the way that I communicate, I'm also Spanish,
Girl,
in Spain.
listen, I'm not Spanish, I'm Latin, but I'm gonna tell you right now,
Yeah.
the audience already knows there's F-bombs, there's holy shit, there's all of that in here. So yes. My sister from another mister.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
But some people don't like that, right? So if you're so bothered by the people, you're going to show up and you're not going to show up as yourself, right? You're going to show up all weird
Yeah.
because you're trying to say the right thing. And people are like, she's weird. You're like, I promise I'm really nice. I'm just I'm just so controlled. I'm like putting myself into this contortionist box, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of freedom to be like, well, some people are going to like me, some people are not going to like me, but at least I got to be me,
Yes. There's so much freedom in that. I remember when I started my training, and I'm in this meeting. I was working at the hospital at the time, and I'm in a meeting with a whole bunch of doctors and clinicians, and we're all in there and we're talking about our patients. And I remember like, okay, just keep it cool, Veronica. Keep it cool. You're professional now and you're wearing this badge and you have to be professional. And I remember I'm in this meeting and we're going over, we're collaborating treatment. We're going over what our treatment plan is for, our patients. And I'm like, well, listen, we fucked up that one. And here's how we fucked it up. And I was passionate. That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the word passionate.
Of
really
course.
passionate about the care that my patients were receiving. And I was upset at how things needed to be done because of the politics. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to hold back. My patient really needs this care. And I'm going to be their advocate because they can't sit in this meeting, right? They're not allowed to sit in this meeting. And I was like, fuck it. We fucked up that one. This is how we fucked it up. These are the things that I recommend, and this is how I want my patient to be treated. And I remember like saying it, those moments where it's just like, you know what, fuck it. And then you have that moment of where like you're trying to come back from it because like, holy shit, you said fuck it at the wrong time. And like, this is not the time you use the fuck it card. Like, this is totally wrong time. And I felt like I should hold back and I need to go back and revert back to this, kind of like how you were saying, this contortionist. And like, it was like, no, I'm going to own this. And I remember after that meeting, I'm looking at my boss and I'm like, oh shit, oh shit. And her and I's relationship changed after that moment. She knew how passionate I was about my patients. She knew me, and I didn't revert back to this quiet training individual. It was, I'm going to own the fact that I'm carrying this badge or I'm in this position for a reason. What is my mission? And I'm going to execute that mission, even if people don't agree with me. And it was crazy because from that one meeting, my relationships, not only with the director changed, but also with the medical staff, also with the psychiatrists. Then they came up to me and it was just this change, this shift in dynamics. And it ended up being where, the director would come into my office and we would have dance parties to shake it off before we went into an intense session. But it was just like, I had a different relationship with them because I showed up as myself. And so I love the fact that you said, yeah, we are bound by chains when we try to change or compromise who we are to meet other people's needs. I love that you said that.
Yeah, no, and I love the story that you've said because what you can hear underneath is like, let's talk about relationships for a second. It's like, how can you have true intimacy if there's no authenticity?
Bingo. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. One thing I'll say over and over is, in any relationship, friendships, especially primarily marriages, you have to be independent before you could be interdependent.
Yeah.
1000%. You can't show up an exceptional version of yourself for your partner if you're not showing yourself that exceptional version of you first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hannah, I feel like we've met each other like in some other life. We probably have.
I'm like, can I go hang out in the room that you're in? I know I keep talking about it. I'm like, look at those sofas, look at this table. So like, where is this? Can I come? Is it
Totally
far?
hang out. You could totally hang out.
Is it appropriate for me to just come to your office?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Anna, thank you so much for joining me. And all of the tech issues, my lights ended up turning off. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And we made this happen. Yes, we made this happen. What is
Imperfectly, perfectly.
exactly? What is one what is one tool? What is one word? What is the feedback that you want to leave our listeners with?
More than you know right now in this moment is possible. Can you
Oh,
trust that?
oh my God. Can you say that again? Like literally that just pierced my heart in the bestest way ever. It did. I love it.
More than you know right now is possible. Can you trust
Yeah. Oh my
that?
God. I'd hug you, but your ass is in Spain.
Not for longer. I've been very clear about coming to your office.
Girl, come over. Come over. I'm in Cali. We'll do lunch. We'll party. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Look at this. Obviously, we didn't have a script. We both said, you know what? We're going to just go. We're just going to go with this. And this is what I love. This is what I love about the podcast community is being able to meet professionals such as yourself, these badass women that are changing the world, being able to have this honest, real conversation without anybody holding each other back. No competition. We're just able to go out and share our wisdom, share our experiences, our fears, and just be real. Thank you.
Thank you. I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm
How can
excited.
I was going to ask for those that want to work with you, because I know there's a bunch of women that are like, oh my gosh, sign me up for whatever Hannah has. Like, how can we connect with you?
So I think the best way to get a feeling of what I do is I've got a free course, which is called Integrative Healing. It's 4 days. And this is for people that are kind of want to feel, firstly, my teaching style, it's intense. I'm Spanish. My clients tell me I teach like I'm on a telenovela. Do you know what? Do you know what it's like? That's like your spiritual telenovela.
We're doing real work here, damn it.
Yeah. So I'm just going to put that in a little warning. So, but the reason that I say this is that you can get a feeling of the modalities that I teach. I think we teach over 15 different types of modalities for different forms of healing, but it all leads to this extraordinary life, right? Yeah. However, for those of you who are decisive and intuitive, and you're just like, I know, I want to work with you, just drop me a message on Instagram. I think that's the easiest thing. I certify people. We've got places for people to do the self-healing work. We've got such an array of courses. I'm not going to bore everyone by going through them because we try and keep things very bespoke to people's needs. Message me, book in a call with my team, or try Integrative Healing, the free course. I'll send a link after, and I'm sure it'll be on the show. Right?
We will have all of this on the show notes. Hannah, thanks again. We definitely have to connect again because this was amazing. And I am so thankful and so blessed to have met you.
Likewise.
Let's be honest. We can all use a little help in our marriage, especially when it comes to communicating. I have created a guide just for you. 5 things that are killing your marriage, tips from a therapist. Find out if you are making these marriage mistakes. Ladies, this guide is 100% free. I will give you practical tips and easy to use strategies to apply right away. You all know I'm a huge advocate for couples. I am on a mission to help you and your partner experience stress-free living. With this free guide, we are setting our marriages up for success. But it starts with you. You will find this free guide here in the show notes or go to www.veronicacisneros.org. The information I will be providing you is next level, and people pay good money to get these tips that I will be giving you for free. Don't forget to share this with a friend. What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now, write a review, rate the episode, and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with your friends.
It's easy to blame ourselves for our struggles with alcohol. We see people around us being able to control their drinking without any consequences, yet no matter what we try, we can't seem to figure it out for ourselves. My name is Jillian Teets, and I am the host of the Sober Powered podcast, where I use my biochemistry background to explain the latest research in addiction and help you understand both why you drink the way you do and how to develop the skills and mindset you need to find freedom from alcohol. I discuss topics like why we think about our drinking 24/7, why we have no off switch, and why we crave alcohol. If you're struggling with your drinking or you know someone who is, then I hope that you will check out the Sober Powered podcast. New episodes every Friday. See you there.